On the morning of March the 15th, Saturday, the officers in the encampment began to trudge up the hill towards the Temple of Virtue. Altogether, there were about 300 of them. They crowded into the room. They took their places on benches and sat. After they had assembled, General Gates appeared. They all came to attention. General Gates moved to the front of the room, invited them to be seated. As they were seated, there was noise outside, the noise of horses' hoofs and the rattle of sabers. It was General Washington's life guard and the general. And there suddenly appeared in the doorway this very imposing figure, well-dressed as always, tall, erect, and it was the commander-in-chief. The men immediately snapped to attention again. General Gates acknowledged the presence of the commander-in-chief. Washington came forward and took his place, asked the men to be seated again, for he wished to address them. Major Samuel Shaw, who was present at this meeting, described that moment. Every eye was fixed upon the illustrious man, and attention to their beloved general held the audience mute. They sat there waiting for the general to speak. He took from his pocket a sheaf of documents and laid them in front of him. And he said to the officers, "Gentlemen, you must forgive me, but the moment is so important that I have prepared a speech," which he then began to read. It is not long. The entire speech probably delivered in certainly less than 10 minutes. But he begins, "Gentlemen, by an anonymous summons, an attempt has been made to convene you together. How inconsistent with the rules of propriety, how unmilitary, and how subversive of all order and discipline. Let the good sense of the army decide." He then went on to remind them in the most emotional way that this man could summon, that he had never left their side for 1 minute, except on public business, that he had always been with them, and how deeply hurt he was that anyone could think otherwise. He reminded them of the cause for which they had fought, and the danger in which that cause now was because of their actions. He then completed his speech. "While I give you these assurances and pledge myself in the most unequivocal manner to exert whatever ability I am possessed of in your favor, may I entreat you, gentlemen, on your part, not to take any measures which, viewed in the calm light of reason, will lessen the dignity and sully the glory you have hitherto maintained. Let me request you to rely on the plighted faith of your country and place a full confidence in the purity of the intentions of Congress, that previous to your dissolution as an army, they will cause all of your accounts to be fairly liquidated, as directed in their resolutions, which were published to you 2 days ago, and that they will adopt the most effectual measures in their power to render ample justice to you for your faithful and meritorious service. And let me conjure you, in the name of our common country, as you value your own sacred honor, as you respect the rights of humanity, and as you regard the military and national character of America, to express your utmost horror and detestation of the man who wishes, under any specious pretenses, to overturn the liberties of our country, and who wickedly attempts to open the floodgates of civil discords and deluge our rising empire in blood. By thus determining and thus acting, you will pursue the plain and direct road to the attainment of your wishes. You will defeat the insidious designs of our enemies, who are compelled to resort from open force to secret artifice. You will give one more distinguished proof of unexampled patriotism and patient virtue, rising superior to the pressure of the most complicated sufferings. And you will, by the dignity of your conduct, afford occasion for posterity to say, when speaking of the glorious example you have exhibited to mankind, had this day been wanting, the world has never seen the last stage of perfection to which human nature is capable of attaining.